Oh. Om Satchidananda-rupaya Vishwotpattyadi-hetave Tapatraya-vinashaya Shri Krishnaya Vayam Numaha. Janmadhyasya yatonvayaditaratascharteshvabhignaswarat Tene Brahma Hridaya Adi Kavaye Muhyanti Yat Surayaha Tejo Vari Mridam Yatha Vinimayo Yatra Trisargo Mrsha Dhamna Svena Sada Nirasta Kuhakam Satyam Param Dhimahi Dharma Projita Kaitavotra Paramo Nirmatsaranam Satam Vedyam Vastavamatra Vastu Shivadam Tapatrayon Mulanam Srimad Bhagavate Mahamuni Krite Kim Va Parerishvaraha Sadyo Hridyavarudyate Kritibi Shushrushrubhistatchanat. Hari Om and greetings from Niagara Falls. Time, the times that it is passing right now, the minutes, the hours, this is known as a sarpa, kala sarpa. And what is the food for this snake? Jagat bhakshaka. The food for time is this multiverse. All of the circumstances, all of the articles, and all of the beings. Us. And just because we're scared of time passing, of time consuming, doesn't mean that time is not going to do what it does. As we live our lives away from God, away from joy, time is not wasted. We are wasted. We decay, we die. Time is much more powerful. Time will go on. My opportunity, I will not go on. There's a lovely sharing in Bhagavatam, obviously, and that is Varam Muhurtam Viditam Gateta Sheyase Yataha, which means better than living a long life that lacks meaning is living for a muhurta, living for a moment as long as there's meaning to that. And this is very different than our typical thinking, no? We think of, if I live longer, then that means I'm living more completely, but that's not true. It is the meaning, it is the quality and not the quantity. Raja Parikshita, he engaged or succumbed to pramada once. Just once he let his guard down. He dropped the ball. And so much of ramification that came from that. And from what happened to him, it teaches us to be vigilant. To appreciate, we should remember people's names more. We should know where we kept our car keys. We should be more careful with all that's happening around us. And the fulfillment of vigilance is knowing one's nature is chit, or awareness. And there's a gift that's given with that. When my worldly vigilance deepens to becoming more aware, I become more aware of my nature, the siddhi that's developed, the talent, the gift that's given to me is naishkarmya. Naishkarmya means I never feel like I'm the doer, which means I never feel like I'm the deserver. Since I have nothing to gain, I have nothing to lose, which means I have nothing to fear. We all want to be more courageous. We want to be more fearless. This is how Raja Parikshita asks Rishi Shuka, what should a dying person hear and speak and do and remember and worship? This is where the first skanda is completed. And out of formality, iti pratama skandaha samaptaha. Hari Om Tat Sat. And I smiled when I saw the Hari Om Tat Sat because we're used to Om Tat Sat, correct? But in Bhagavatam they add that Hari Om Tat Sat. And now that the question is posed, there has to be an answer. Dvitiya skandaha ata pratamo dhyayaha. We begin the second skanda. The first skanda had 19 adhyayas. This skanda has 10 chapters. It is one of the shortest adhyayas of Srimad Bhagavatam, but dense. For those who have an analysis of Srimad Bhagavad Gita, chapter 4 contains so much about Sanatana Dharma. Talks about the Guru Shishya Parampara, talks about the color system. I feel the second canto of Bhagavatam is like that. You'll see how much is contained in all of this. I am on the first adhyaya, and I'm reading the 23rd shloka. You have to remember the question is, what should a dying person do? Here's the answer. Jitasano jitashwasaha jitasango jitandriyaha stule bhagavato rupe manasandharaye dhiya. Jita asana, which means one should conquer or be disciplined in their sitting. Shwasaha, in their breathing. Sangaha, in their association. Indriya, with their senses. Manaha sandharaye dhya, and they should contemplate on what? Stule bhagavato rupe, they should concentrate on the gross form of the Creator. So we'll think about this some. Before this is shared by Rishi Shuka, he tells Raja Parikshita, people are busy, and in their busyness, they forget that they're attached. They're attached to all of creation without knowing the Creator behind creation. He says, Pashyannapi na pashyati, even though they're seeing the Creator, they're not seeing the Creator. And because they don't see the Creator, they think all of this is mine. If I saw the Creator in all of creation, how would I ever say this is mine? And deeper than that, I think this is me. I am part of creation. I'm created. But if I can see the Creator in me, I never say this is me. I feel I am the Creator. I'm at one with all. Where there is raga, or attachment, there will be bhaya, which means fear. If any of us are afraid of whatever in life, know that there's some attachment there. Now go deeper. Why is there attachment? Because I feel separation. Me and my spouse, me and my kids, me and my friends, me and my home. I'm seeing creation instead of the creator. Which is why Raja Parikshita is told, Jitasano, that one should keep their body calm. You know for how long? 45 minutes. For 45 minutes, one should have their body calm. Calm means you don't move your body. Because every time you move your body, you go back to identifying with the body. Now, to be able to keep the body calm for 45 minutes, I have to be healthy, no? If I'm physically unhealthy, it makes what a dying person should do nearly impossible. You know, when we're physically not healthy, when we sit down for contemplation, what are we contemplating on? Our backaches, our headaches, just the overall heaviness of the body. Jitasano is bring discipline to the body. Jita shwasaha, deeper than the food sheath is the breath sheath. That one should bring discipline to the breath. So much so that one forgets where they are. See, with the body you forget what time it is. With the breath you forget where you are. You're so absorbed in your own breath. We're changing our identification then. Deeper than that. And I want us to be very aware of this, that it doesn't end at breathing. Jita sangaha. If you watched a scary movie last night, what did you dream of? I was in your dreams, correct? And it affects your morning. When I'm around people who are supportive and positive, I feel I can do it. When I'm around people who are negative and judgmental, I feel I can't do it. When we sit down and contemplate, if we're thinking about people's opinions and judgments and what they did, it's the wrong association then. Jita sangaha, this affects the mind. So I have to be disciplined with my company. Jitendriya, deeper than the mind sheath, is the intellect sheath. What does the intellect do? Desires. It comes up with desires. Because I feel sad, I have desires. And how do I try to fulfill those desires? Through my sense organs. So Jitendriya means I should have discipline at my sense organ level. It means I should be disciplined about my desires, which means I shouldn't be extrovert. So here is your answer. What should a dying person do? They should contemplate. They should deepen their identification from the body to the breath to the mind to the intellect. And then they push that ego into the spirit. This is called swarupa. So what should one do as they're aging, as they're dying, is to contemplate on their own self, on their own nature. It's a very deep, deep thought. And Rishi Shuka is so loving, like Bhagavan Krishna. He knows that Raja Parikshita can do this, but he knows that we can't do this. Which is why he says if you can't contemplate on the Swarupa, you should contemplate on the Vishwarupa. So then he describes how all of creation is actually the creator. And I'll give you some examples of this. He says that the creator's waste is earth. So this whole plane that we're living in is Bhagwan's waste, which means there's a whole lot below and there's a whole lot above. Bhagwan's molars, and it even says that specifically, not teeth, molars. What is Bhagwan's molars? Death. So whenever we see someone who's dying, someone who passes away, they're in Bhagwan's mouth. They're being changed by Bhagwan's teeth. And this is not violent or negative. I eat a peach, I chew on it, it becomes my body, it leaves my body, and then it becomes more food, correct? What a beautiful message that everything just keeps changing. And in Bhagavad Gita, do you remember when Prince Arjuna is looking at this Vishwarupa and he sees people stuck in Bhagwan's teeth? So a similar thought being shared here. Bhagwan's bones are the mountains. So whenever you fly over the Rocky Mountains or to Bharat, those are Bhagwan's bones. You know, like my shoulder bones are accentuated because I'm not very strong, so you can see my bones. You can see my chin bone. So when we see those mountains, instead of I should take a helicopter over this, I should appreciate that this is the creator. And the rivers, we have the Niagara River here, we have so many rivers, Bhagwan's blood. All of those rivers, Ganga, Yamuna, Kaveri, Godavari, that's all Bhagwan's blood. The clouds, Bhagwan's hair. And it's so cool because he keeps changing his hairstyle, right? Sometimes cirrus clouds, sometimes cumulonimbus clouds, sometimes cloudless, right? Some people don't have hair sometimes. So whenever you see the clouds, instead of seeing the clouds, see how those clouds are created. And the large animals, elephants, giraffe, those are Bhagwan's nails. Now, I really didn't understand that part till I think about large animals tend to have claws. Like bears, as an example, a rhinoceros. So these are my claws, correct? So now all of a sudden we become much more environmentally friendly, right? We see in movies that people torture each other by ripping their nails out in movies. Now, if I go hunting, if I eat animals, then I'm doing the same to Bhagwan, isn't it? So all of this is described as Bhagwan's Vishwarupa. Now keep this train of thought in mind. Every one of us is dying. Life is a terminal condition, correct? So what should I be doing? Contemplating on my own nature. Now I'm not trained to do that, so I should contemplate on Bhagwan's Vishwarupa. If I can't contemplate on the jiva, I should contemplate on the jagat. That's the idea here. On the jagat. And one specific point about Bhagwan I want to share, which is very cultural. Bhagwan's chest is known as dharma and his back is known as adharma. And that's why you never show your back to Bhagwan, because it's showing to Bhagwan that I'm engaged in adharma. You only show your front to Bhagwan. Right? I thought that was a very cultural matter. Thinking of the application of this some more. Our bodies are made up of earth and water and fire, etc., etc. So is Bhagwan's body, which really means my body is Bhagwan's body, and it means your body is too. So should I judge you? Should I fight you? Should I hurt you? For Holy, I was mentioning to remember we're all God's children. So there's a lot of application for this. Later on in this chapter, what is shared is those people who are in Satyaloka, which means they're the most evolved beings, they don't experience any sorrow other than when they see other beings who are not engaged in seva. They feel sad for them because they feel that the people around them are different. It's like, I think my left shoulder is different than my right, so I only bathe my right shoulder. If you saw me doing that, you'd think, well, what are you doing? You'd feel sad for me because this shoulder would become dirty. It would become sick. So the most evolved beings feel sad for us when we don't serve each other. Those who are most evolved are seeing that we are all the same. Punya is engaging in seva. Swarupa, Vishwarupa. Now suppose I can't contemplate on the jiva, and I can't contemplate on the jagat, then what's my last option? To contemplate on Jagadishwara, which is my Ishtarupa. If I can't do Swarupa and Vishwarupa, there's one more option, which is the Ishtarupa, which is not this multiverse, but what you feel is Bhagwan, how you connect to Bhagwan the most. For all who have read chapter 12 of Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Bhagwan Krishna doesn't allow Prince Arjuna not to engage in bhakti yoga. He says, if you can't do this, do this. If you can't do this, do this. If you can't do this, do this. He gives endless ways to be close to him. We find the same in Bhagavatam. I'm on the second adhyaya, and I'm reading the 13th shlokas, 13 shloka, line 1 and 2. Ekaika shongani dhyan ubhavayet padadi yavad disitam gadabhritam jitam jitam syanam apohya dharayet paramparam shuddhyati dhirayatha yatha. Which means that one is sitting with their body, breath, mind, and intellect disciplined. Jita, which means you're in control. And I cannot contemplate or identify with my Swarupa. I can't do that with the Vishwarupa. So I visualize my Ishtarupa, whom I feel is outside of me, whom I feel is inside of me. Before I describe what is instructed here, for one to contemplate well, one has to accept how strong they are and how weak they are. See, if I'm not a capable contemplator, but I'm going to try contemplating on my Swarupa, I will just be frustrated. Or a liar, because I'll be thinking that I'm contemplating on my nature when I'm actually not. I'm not doing that. So I have to be honest and I have to accept that maybe I have to start with Jagadishwara, then go to Jagat, then go to the Jiva. The more you accept, the more you will internalize this presence. The less honest we are, the more we'll externalize this. So here what is shared is that starting with one limb of your Ishtarupa, you go limb by limb from the feet to the head, and you keep contemplating on every detail of that limb until you can do it with your eyes closed, where you can see the same detail. You do this so fully that as you move from limb to limb, the mind is lighter, which means the mind is more purified. Now, who did all of this unconsciously? Swami Chinmaya, no? When he was a young boy and his family used to engage in puja, this is the game he used to play. He used to do this upasana of envisioning how Bhagavan Shiva would look, what he would have in his hands. And he did this when he was 4 and 5 years old. And I'd shared with all of you, specifically those in Cleveland, if you observe Swami Chinmayananda's life from earlier periods to periods we know about more, when he would write letters and messages, he would write Om Namo Narayanaya. Now, why did he do this? Because through his upasana as a boy, he became Lord Shiva. On Mahashivratri, he would tell people, don't touch me. Because there's so much teja. That's when that pillar of light manifests. An ordinary person like me can't handle that. He would instruct people, don't touch me. For their welfare, not for his welfare. He became Bhagavan Shiva. And Bhagavan Shiva is the greatest bhakta of Bhagavan Vishnu. So Om Namo Narayanaya. This can be for us too. He did it when he was 5. We're doing it when we're 50. But our intellect would be more developed than a 5-year-old. We can appreciate this more. And we have to give full attention on Bhagavan's smile. In the same chapter, Bhagavan's smile is described as Haso Janon Mada Kari Cha Maya. That Bhagavan's smile is that which causes confusion in people. His smile is a smile of Maya. He has the gentlest of smiles, but his smile can delude us, and it's that same smile that will enlighten us. And I mentioned last week how his smile deluded Prince Arjuna, deluded Raja Parikshita, is perpetually deluding us. But when I am able to contemplate on this smile, I realize that he deluded me. And since he's the one that deluded me, he's the only one who can enlighten me. That is surrender. That you're the only one who can free me. And when I appreciate that, this is internalization, I realize who I am. Who is he deluding? Who is he enlightening? You can only delude and enlighten someone who's not you. You don't look in the mirror and delude yourself or enlighten yourself, correct? That's where I, who believe I'm separate, I who am creation, I think that creator is different, the creator is different. With such contemplation, the Jiva, Jagat, and Jagadishvara all become one. Satyam Param Dhimahi. I contemplate on that oneness. This is Raja Parikshita's question that is answered. As long as you think you are an individual, the message of Srimad Bhagavatam is for us to be enamored, to be in love with our Creator, so that we absorb the mind, the intellect, the memory, the ego in Bhagavan. We call this samadhi. When the mind, intellect, memory, ego is well and fully placed in the Creator. If samsara is a marketplace, then God is the prophet. If you think about the way we're living, imagine all of this to being a marketplace. Why does someone facilitate a marketplace? For profit, right? The only profit in this market is God, is Bhagavan's name. And I'll read to you a message from the commentary I'm reading. A man has really lived only during those moments of his life that have been spent in the thought of the Lord. Vain are the lives of the rest, their lifespan being merely food for time to swallow through its jaws of sunrise and sunset. Sunrise, show me your sunrise. And sunset, and sunrise, and sunset. But I'm in that. My opportunity's in that, other than those thoughts we have of Bhagavan, whether it's 60 minutes on Sunday morning or 168 hours, that profit doesn't get consumed. That profit lasts forever. Raja Parikshita is quite satisfied with this answer. But now that he has Rishi Shuka's attention, he asks him, how does Bhagavan accomplish creation? He already has plenty of faith in Bhagavan and how he does this, but he asks him, how does he accomplish all of this? And this shows that a good question will bring the answer higher, will bring the answer deeper. Raja Parikshita is not asking about, what should I eat now? Raja Parikshita is not saying, okay, done. He asks another question, and another question, and another question. Rishi Shuka doesn't stay anywhere longer than a few minutes. But we're only on Canto 2. There's so many more to go. Whenever we ask a question, we should think a lot. Will this take the answer deeper? I told you that there's 10 adhyayas in this skanda. The 4th, 5th, and 6th adhyaya will continue with creation, very elaborately, but I've told you in summary. Swarupa, Vishwarupa, Ishtarupa. In the 7th adhyaya, all of Bhagavatam is given in brief. All of Bhagavatam. So for those who are really tamasic and lazy, you can finish. After next week, then you don't have to continue for years with me. And this is so cool. Remember in Ramayana, we had a summary of Ramayana at the end of Ramayana. See, they're the best teachers. They just keep on giving us what's going to happen, what happened, what's going to happen, what happened. In the 8th adhyaya, Raja Parikshita goes to town with questions. He asks like 20 questions in a row. He doesn't even let Rishi Shuka breathe. He just keeps asking questions. You know, like an infant will do. Why is that chair over there? How did that chair get there? Let's move that chair over there. What if we do this over there? So he keeps asking all of these questions. Then in the 9th adhyaya comes the essence of Bhagavatam, known as Chatushloki Bhagavatam, where all of Bhagavatam is contained within 4 shlokas, extremely deep. And in the 10th adhyaya, there are 10 to 12 parts to Bhagavatam. I told you the first part in the first skanda is Adhikari. The second part in the second skanda is Sadhana. Now from 3 all the way to 12, each skanda has a specific focus. So all of that is listed in the 10th adhyaya. So a lot of forward-looking feeling comes out in the remaining part of this skanda. So next week we'll take up some more about creation. We'll get into a brief flow of Bhagavatam and some of the questions. And the week after that we'll take up Chatushloki Bhagavatam. Oh. Narayana.